All right, how we doing today? Let me get all my stuff set up. We got Let's Go Jared. Come on now. Olympics, here we come. All right, how's everybody doing today? Are we having a great day? Holy moly, it's day 28. Can you believe it's already day 28? It seems like just yesterday we started this whole endeavor that we're on. Out of some crazy bee in my bonnet, wild hair up my ass kind of thing. And now here we are, day 28. Let's go. Let's go. Fantastic. How's your internal locus of control today? Are you strong? How's that hurricane on the inside? Is it built up? Has it got the eye wall good? Check your levels now to make sure the eye wall's good. Is you stoked? Is your fire stoked? Is your critical eye locked down in a hole? That's where we're putting them now, down in a hole. Come on. You got your schedule laid out so you know what you're doing the next day, to relieve that anxiety and to kind of bound up those impulses. Got that impulse control going? Because, hey, we got to keep that stuff going now. That's how we're going to move forward, okay? So stoke it up, people. Come on. Well, you got your watercolor supplies going? Because, hey, we're getting ready to do that watercolor class now. I guess it's not really a class. It's more like a 30-day challenge, okay? So I've had some people, they've been shooting me messages. Hey, is this good? Is that good? Is that good? And I want to remind you, make sure you get some squares. I got my squares right here. You know, squares of different shapes so I can put them together. Mine are made out of wood. You can make yours out of cardboard or a 3x5 card. But go ahead and do that because that's going to make it real easy to do our layout on our sketchbook now and fly down the road, okay? Also, don't forget to get your painter's tape. I get this blue painter's tape now. I like the nice thin one. You know, you can get fatter, but you'll waste your money, waste your tape, okay? Just get the thin one. And then some other people got some tube paints, all right? Now, if you get the tube paints, make sure you get yourself a little tray to squirt them in and put a little lid on top of it, okay? It keeps it all nice so you can clean up real quick and put it on the shelf and get going. Now, back in the day, I didn't have none of that. I just had a plate. And so I'd have to squirt them bad boys out on a plate and then try to put some plastic over the plate. And it was like a headache, you know what I mean? But get yourself a little thing like this. This is one of the ones I have. It's a nice palette. I take the top off, you know, and then bam, there's all my paint. You know, right there's all my paints. And then you got your whole mixing area in the middle, you know, and then I can just leave it there and say, oh man, I'm done with my paint and I got to run down the road or I got to take care of my, you know, whatever responsibilities, my dog, my kids, my wife, my cat, I don't know. I got to get more red breast. Who knows, right? More tequila. Then you just go ahead and put the lid back on it and put it over there. And it's great. It's waiting for you for next time. Okay? That's what it is. It's just waiting on you next time. No big deal. So make sure you get one of those, okay? There's also little tiny ones and cheap ones and whatever. I think that one was like 20 bucks on Amazon or something like that. Also, don't forget that Sunday Fun Day, okay? We're going to have a little celebration. So be in a celebratory mood, all right? If you hadn't had donuts for a while or Entenmann's or red breast, you know, or tequila or whatever it is, or Mexican Coke, maybe that's your thing. I don't know. Maybe it's Chinese food. Maybe it's some chow mein. I don't know. Get yourself some. Treat yourself, because on Sunday Fun Day, we're going to have a fun time. We're going to have an experiment. You know what I'm saying? It'll be fun. And bring your sketchbook with you, and make sure that we're going to go over the sketchbook. So don't worry about it. All right. Now, I did want to talk about something. I got my ravens out there partying. You probably can't hear them, but I got the ravens out there yelling. So they're all hawking at me. If you see me looking over there, I keep hearing them. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's good. They're having a good time. I love it. A little raven party. All right. Now, I wanted to talk about something about the critical eye. Okay, now this is really important, okay, people? This is really important. There's a difference between struggling and suffering. Okay, I want you to think about that. When you struggle, you convert that pain into a payoff. And when you suffer, you go through the same pain, but there's no payoff. Okay? Now, you got to face your pain and make all the pain that you face pay off for you. or you get looped right back to the beginning and you got to go through that painful experience again. So turn into the pain, absorb the pain, and make the pain pay off for you. Don't look away. Don't jam it down into you. Look into it, okay? And figure out what it is about that experience or that memory or whatever it is that is causing you to recoil in pain. And then examine your thoughts and pick out the lie and throw it away so that it's no longer painful. Okay? Maybe it's just that you need to reframe the way that you see the situation. It's probably the critical eye that's lying to you. And that's what the critical eye does. He lies to you. And one of the things that I do to help myself go through the pain is I envision myself, my body, like water in my mind's eye. And I envision whatever that pain is just passing right through it. And maybe that'll work for you too. And it allows me to go through the process and then to figure out what it is that's causing me pain. And allows me to turn towards it and then get through it, get over it, change that portion of myself that is hanging up on that pain. You know, pain's a wonderful thing. Pain will take you to places that you never thought you'd go in your life. It'll give you sensitivities that you never thought you'd have. And it'll give you empathy and insight into other people that otherwise you would never know. It's really a superpower. Pain is the fuel to propel your life to the next level or to someplace wonderful. So don't look at pain as a bad thing. Look at pain as an indicator of what you believe. The more pain you experience, the more you need to adjust your beliefs. Now, of course, there's certain things that are painful. You know, like when you lose your loved one or you lose your dog or whatever. But remember that it was a beautiful experience that you had with that person, and that's why it hurts. So be grateful that you even had that experience and dwell on that instead of the fact that you are now alone. Because when you dwell on the fact that you're alone, you're going to stay alone. Dwell on the exciting memories, the love, the joy, and you will attract that to yourself. I'm not saying all that law of attraction stuff. That's not what I'm talking about here. Let me ask you a question. If you walk into a bar or some other place where there's an audience, there's a crowd of people, and there's two empty seats. There's an empty seat next to somebody who looks like they're angry, upset, disheveled, their hair's not looking good, and they're crouched down, their body language is like this. Or there's a seat next to somebody who's dressed nice, who is bright, their eyes are up and meeting other people's eyes, they're quick with a smile. Where do you want to sit? It's obvious. So be that person. Change your life. Be that person. Let the pain chisel those rough edges off of you. Struggle with that so that you get somewhere. Don't suffer with it and stay in the same place, because you'll suffer the rest of your life. Don't medicate it, because as soon as you run out of medicine, you're in the same place. You might run out of medicine in a week. You might run out of medicine in a year. You might run out of medicine in 45 years. And that's real sad, because at the end of those 45 years, you're right back in the same spot. That's painful. But even in that, it creates an understanding and an empathy and a wisdom and a sensitivity that is valuable. You have to see it that way. Now, as you go along and face your pain, that critical eye becomes your ally. Because that critical eye sees all kinds of things and will tell you, and will tell you, and will tell you. And you'll take those things that you used to interpret as pain and instead use it as direction. You'll make that critical eye a slave to the product, and that critical eye will lift that product up through its criticism. It'll refine that product in the criticism of its fire, in the fire of its criticism, over and over and over. And because you unhooked it from your identity, the critical eye is no longer associated with your identity. You instead put it on, associate it with your product. It won't hurt you no more. Instead, it'll tell you little details like, oh, you need to refine this, you need to fix that, you need to change this, you need to change that. So that when you bring it to your audience, when you bring it to your patrons, when you bring it to those people that are giving you their time to you, they're investing in you, they will be pleased with the product because that's who you're serving. And if you look at it that way, you will maintain safety around the personality of who you are. You'll be safe. Any criticisms that come from anybody else shows you the pain that they're running from. It's a superpower. Just align it that way. It's a superpower. So I want you to think about that. That's a lot of stuff to think about. But that's the truth. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're going to do as we go forward, because we're going to sketchbook and watercolor and all of this stuff is a ripe opportunity for the critical eye to jump up and tell you, you're terrible, you're no good, blah, 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 right? We got been there, done that. We're over it, okay? Use that as training to get over the critical eye, to face your pain, to be embarrassed about how bad your art is, and accept it. Accept it. Make it part of who you are. Yep, that's me. Without any frills or filters or anything, here I am. That is where you want to be. That is solid foundation. That's a firm floor to stand on. That's where you want to be. You want to be, hey, we're going to do watercolors this next 30 days. Now, you probably suck at it, but who cares? We all suck at it. We're all just trying to get better together. We're all trying to enjoy our life through this medium of watercolor. And we're going to make some watercolors. Okay? This is one of the very first frames I've ever made. I started making my own frames in 2017 or 18 or something like that. And I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew that I didn't want to pay the gallery rate for frames. And if I could make my own frames, I could keep that money. Because oftentimes the frame could be the same price as the artwork. So I was like, I'm not going to leave that money on the table. So I went out there and I tried. I'd never done woodworking before in my life. And I aided with my trusted friend YouTube. I went out there and started learning how to do it. Okay? And I was terrible at it. Right? This is one of the first good ones that I made. I learned how to burn the wood. I learned how to router. I learned how to put it together. I learned how to stain it and all that kind of stuff. Okay? And then after that, I went on out to Hawaii, painted some waves. These were from my trip to Hawaii. And I went ahead and made some frames for most of them and sold them off. Had a good time, but I kept some. So I would always remember that era of my life. That's what you want too. And then when I look back on it, I look back on it with love, appreciation. It's like a toddler who first starts to walk, that they have the courage to put one foot in front of another, even though they've never done it before, and even though they fall and throw a fit, they still have the courage to get up and walk again. There's something really special about that. That's the purity of courage. That's what we want, that purity of courage. Now, I know I said a lot. I'm going to try to draw it to a close here. Didn't mean to get on a soapbox. What I want you to do in your sketchbook is I want you to draw yourself. Put it all out there. You can draw yourself as a cartoon. You can do a real portrait. Do anything you want, but draw yourself in your sketchbook. Now, I drew myself. Some of them are cartoons and some of them are a little more real. I got my long hair. I got my gap tooth. I got my big mouth yelling all my stuff. All right? Be ornery about it. If you got a gap tooth, own it. That's what I do. If you got whatever, own it. Make it a strength. Okay, people? And put that damn stuff in your sketchbook. Because when you look back on this in a month, you're going to be like, that damn right. Damn right. Okay? So let's go. Let's fucking go. Come on.